Mr. Sessions is now recognized.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. What a great opportunity for us to come and take what we regularly do in Washington, D.C., to come back to these districts. I want to say to people who are back here, not just here today, but also listening, that I believe that there's a lot of conversation that happens exactly in Washington, D.C. that's happening here, and that is how we connect more consumers with financial institutions to the benefit of consumers, to where they can make decisions about themselves, their future, and for their families. I'd like to, if I can, after thanking you for bringing us here, to recognize that the conversations that you and John and Scott have had were really the word safety and soundness that we understand is important, but the word security has sneaked into our lexicon. And I'd like to ask each of you, perhaps Stripe and Zest would offer their analysis first, but as we've gotten into a world where we're interconnected more and more, so have people through malware and other criminal activities sneak themselves into what I would say the system, not just into an individual company. And in Texas, which is where I'm from, we have financial institutions that report time after time after time their customers being at risk because of malware and criminal activity. If I could just have you perhaps go down the line and talk with us about the activities that you believe, either whether you're receiving good information back from regulatory organizations, law enforcement, or others that will help you to stay leading edge. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks for asking that. I think the safety and security of the data and of the customers is really important to us. And we have a team that works on that specifically. It's a pretty large team and uses a lot of analytics to understand what attacks are coming at us, how we help prevent those, implement additional security to do that. I think that from the regulatory or the oversight standpoint, or even the assistance standpoint from law enforcement, we find they're very helpful, but somewhat overwhelmed right now with all the things that are going on. So when you reach out and you say, hey, this is a problem our customers are having, they say thank you, and they put it in the database and get it shared rapidly, but they can't always do a lot to help the individual that might have been impacted.
So do you share that information, or do they share back with you? Do you think it goes across the organizations that might be banks,
absolutely.
bankers?
We subscribe and others subscribe to the service that when you put that into the service, it gets shared across. We also have panels and other discussions that occur.
Thank you. Mr. We want to hear from Stripe or Zest.
Thank you for the question. So obviously security is critical in the line of business that we're in. You're dealing with obviously banking information, individuals' personal information. We take that very seriously as an organization and have all the necessary protocols in place. I think the thing that I would offer or watch out for is that there are some other players that are coming into the U.S. from overseas, and they're trying to service community banks and credit unions here in the U.S. Personal information is being sent overseas, which is a really great risk for our consumers. And so what I would encourage, from a Zest perspective is, we use a cloud-based security system and, have never had an issue. But I would watch out, and I would offer to the congresspeople here that we do have players coming in from the outside that I think are putting an American consumer at risk.
I think we wouldn't have a specific experience to add, but just we feel an obligation to be guardians of the financial ecosystem as well. And as technology improves for all of us, the bad guys are using technology as well. And that's why I think we're heartened by regulators also embracing technology and taking strides there, because I think they see it as a tool that we all need to combat cybercrime and other fraudsters that are happening online.
Do you believe that would you spot this perhaps for a customer, or do they spot it and do they notify you, or or are they pretty silent about what they had?
No, I think it goes both ways. And when we spot it, we have an obligation to raise it with law enforcement, and we do that often.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.